Okay, let's talk about the economy for a second. Because my sister-in-law wrote me recently and she said, she's in Ohio. She said, I've got these girlfriends and they say that, they're going to keep voting for Trump because of the economy. What do I say to them? So I want to tell you what I would say to someone like that. And I'm going to try to keep it short, even though I actually have a lot to say. But no one wants to listen to someone rant for 10 minutes. So what I would try to say if I had just a couple of minutes is, are you aware of Trump's plans to put a 10 to 20% tariff on all imported goods and a 60% tariff on all imported Chinese goods? And if so, are you aware that about 40% of our consumer goods come from China and a lot of our food comes from other countries? Are you aware that those tariff proposals, which by the way, he's only doing because he wants to keep cutting taxes for rich people, and that's how he wants to pay for it, guess who's going to pay for those? We are. It's going to add somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 to our bills every year. And this is economists across the ideological spectrum have found this to be the case. In fact, most economists think that under Trump's proposed economic policies, we'll be in a recession by the end of 2025. And guaranteed prices will go up because of his tariff proposals, because he wants to give more tax cuts to rich people, and also because he wants to deport somewhere between 11 million and 20 million undocumented immigrants. And the thing that I think people don't realize about that policy, aside from the sort of human rights issues with it, is that that will be catastrophic for our economy. These are people who work in hospitality, they work in farming, food service, and construction. This means that if they really were to be deported, and that will be a very expensive operation in and of itself, economists think somewhere around $500 billion to round all those people up, separate them from their families, tear parents away from children, bring them to detention camps on the border, and then fly them out. About $500 billion that's going to cost our economy just for the operation of shipping them out. What it will cost our economy in lost jobs is incalculable, because the ironic thing is that when you remove these immigrants from the equation, American workers lose jobs because so many businesses fail. Not to mention, we are facing a worker shortage in our country. In fact, I just saw an article yesterday that says that it's going to get quite dire in the next year. We don't have enough workers. We're not replacing our workers fast enough. If Trump deports, let's say in the middle, 15 million workers, we're looking at a catastrophic economic situation in our country. And the point of all of it is that Trump doesn't actually understand economic policy. He understands punishment. He understands saying things that will sort of inflame his base. But when you ask anybody who works in economics, they will tell you that his plan to deport all these workers, to put these across the board tariffs, we're all fine with, targeted tariffs. Those can really work, but these are across the board. Tariffs on everything being imported into the country, it is going to cost us a fortune. And the final thing I'll say is that Kamala Harris, no matter what you feel about her, has an actual plan to tackle price gouging. She has an actual plan to make housing more affordable. She has an actual plan to make childcare more affordable and to give new parents help with a tax break. She is doing everything in her power to spell out an economic policy that helps working Americans and people who are struggling. Trump's plan is geared entirely towards helping billionaires become even bigger billionaires, and then telling everybody else things that sound good in theory until you poke just a little under the surface. His plan will cost you money. There is no question. And again, I can send you article after article after article of economists from the Wall Street Journal, from every different side of the aisle, saying that his plans are terrible and that a Biden plan and then Harris, now that she's the candidate, is better, will be better for the economy. And I'll just stop by saying, I don't know if you're aware, but Trump added $8 trillion to the deficit in his first term. It was the most any president has ever added to a deficit except for Abraham Lincoln and George W. Bush, who were both prosecuting wars. His tax cuts are catastrophic for our efforts to reduce our deficit. And yet he's going to do them again. So we will be paying more for our groceries. Our deficit will be growing. We will have a catastrophic human rights situation with the deportations and also a worker shortage because of them. Tell me what it was that you said was good about his economic proposals. I'm just curious because from where I'm standing, I see nothing. Maybe it's time to reconsider.